Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Tarek Habitoff here with Galia Wessler, CEO of Plazus and thought leader in the blockchain space. Since a week ago, when we first addressed blockchain solutions for the coronavirus, there has been rapid global response ranging from panic to deep concern, putting a halt to a number of business operations. Many of those and us are feeling the pressure and trying to make the best of the situation. Travel has been significantly reduced and many companies have encouraged employees to work from home. Most recently, Google has told employees to work from home both in Europe and the United States. So this brings up an interesting discussion, as remote working has previously been favorable for some companies, yet still hasn't been embraced by many. Galia, can you share your experience from a technology standpoint on how remote working can, in fact, increase productivity and help businesses achieve success?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for the audience for listening. This is a video, part of our video series with regards to what is happening in the world today with the coronavirus and the epidemic that is happening. Indeed, we are facing times where people are no longer shaking hands anymore. Conferences and events are being canceled. I was booked to perform some keynotes in conferences in Europe, and unfortunately, it's being canceled, obviously, for the better good of the society and not to be able to spread the disease. And also, public services are being apprehensive in receiving people face-to-face. Bank branches are being shut down, and more of online banking is being encouraged. Governments are asking people to stay at home. Companies are asking employees to work from home or simply not come to work. We're seeing countries shutting down their borders. In some countries, if you decide to enter, you will be put in quarantine for 14 days. And in some countries, it's considered a federal offense if you're not staying in quarantine for 14 days. So a lot of things are being disturbed. Our life is no longer the way we can carry it normally. And also business-wise, there's a major impact. It sounds crazy, right?
It's getting intense for sure.
Yes. The challenges are psychologically very complicated because people are losing touch with one another. But also today, business-wise, the impact is quite wide. And because it has such a big impact on the business world, if your operation is not set up to work remotely, to accommodate your clients, to accommodate your employees remotely, you will be losing business, and you will be losing clients and everything that goes along with it. You know, back in 2013, we've seen a case where back in those days, Marissa Mayer, that was appointed as the CEO of Yahoo, she actually banned people from working remotely all over the world. And she got some negative reviews over it. And by the way, she resigned in 2017. But it just goes to show you that I've had these discussions with other companies throughout the years. And I would always say, you know, technology companies or companies that are providing services or companies that are doing, that have different clientele in different types of businesses. And I've always said that they should be digitizing their processes and moving to the online world. And simply, if companies are not catching up, they are losing their business. And today, in today's world, there is no other choice because you cannot invite people to your office anymore. You cannot hold events, and you can't even ask your employees to come work. And the employees, like for example, now I'm in Germany. If somebody works in Germany, they can decide to take unlimited sick days. So that can really harm the business because they can be losing their employees. So they're better off situating themselves where everything is online. I want to make a comment that a remote work is not an option for all people and for all professions. Unfortunately, there are millions of others in the fields of retail and dining and other industries where they cannot simply log in to a piece of software. They cannot log in using Google for Business, Gmail or Outlook or Slack or Google Hangouts or Zoom, the way we're using it today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really important that we should really remain positive and encourage businesses to look at their operations from the angle of how digitization can benefit them in such difficult times.
Yes, absolutely. You know, the heart of what we do in Plazus is we help small to medium-sized businesses digitize previous processes. That's in really simple terms. So we are a company that provides software development services. We also have products that we're selling. We talk about cross-border payments. So what we do is we look at the company and seeing what they're doing today that is manual and how can they digitize it to make their operation more smooth and positively affect their bottom line. So for example, if an organization, they had a manual process where there was a previous process of handling and handing over a piece of paper to do something with that piece of paper. So instead of handling that piece of paper manually, so let's talk about one of our clients. They hire employees, workers all over the world for companies such as Airbnb and Facebook and Harvard University, where these companies do not have a legal entity. So for example, in Germany, they hire employees for Airbnb in Germany because they're specialized in HR worldwide, also called employee of record. So what they do is they have to hand over a piece of paper, and that piece of paper happens to be an employment agreement, right? In that employment agreement, once upon a time, they physically gave it to the worker and they gave it to the company, and they bridged between the two, and then they facilitated the whole process of hiring somebody. Instead, what they can do with this piece of paper is they can store it on the cloud, right? So for example, their cloud environment is Microsoft Azure, and they can add permissions to that specific piece of paper with the specific roles in the organization to do something with that piece of paper. So you can imagine employment agreement piece of paper needs to be accessed by the lawyer, legal department, by the finance department, by the worker, by the company, right? And then once they store it online, so for them, we built a portal. In that portal, we only give access to those specific roles, the finance department, the legal department. And then once they enter to the portal, we record what that individual or what that specific role is doing. It's probably manipulating that piece of paper online, right? Another good example is if you were to use Google for Business, Google Docs, or just Google Docs for personal use. For example, we prepared for this interview. That was our piece of paper. Tara preparing the questions, I prepared the answers, back and forth. We manipulated that piece of paper online, and Google actually recorded everything. So you can use existing tools, or you can build tools that are more fit for your business. So because that business they hire people all over the world, they have many, many, many workers, they have many, many employees, they simply cannot just use Google as a tool. For example, Google Docs, they had to build their own portal to provide specific access to the specific roles in the organization. And they had very specific rules around what to record. So for example, if they were to use that employment agreement and something happened during the employment and the employment was terminated, somebody was fired or somebody was let go, it is highly important to record what happened along the way with that specific piece of paper. And so what was happening is that once they're able to record everything, it was saved automatically. Now, why is that good? You can ask yourself, why is this good? So if you are working for a business, or if you own a business where you've thought about these manual processes that are happening in your organization and you've digitized it, awesome. You can seamlessly now tell your vendors and tell your clients and tell your employees to log in to your portal, to log in to some tool, whatever it is that you're using to digitize your process. But if you haven't thought about digitizing your operation, now today on 13th of March, Friday the 13th, you are now struggling. You now don't know what to do. How am I going to manage my operation? What am I going to say to my employees? How can I adhere to the new rules? What can I do in order to not lose my business and lose my clients? And how can I really manage my operations with as little interruptions as possible?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Galia. This is very informative. And we just would like everyone to know that we are staying on top of the latest developments, and we'll continue to explore how this is impacting businesses around the world. And please just do not stop working and try to be as positive as possible. And if anyone has any questions at all about what we've discussed, or about how to digitize their business, for example, or deal with this time that we're all dealing with, reach out to either one of us. Other than that, please remain healthy and safe, and wishing everyone the best during this time.
Yes, and I want to add that it is in fact difficult times, but it's up to us to be able to remain calm and to be able to plan for the future. And it's also very important to act right now. It's also very important to keep in mind that we're all in this together and we can go through this together. Thank
Exactly.
you.
Thank you.